it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and a great question came in today to my team that I wanted to address for all of you to hear. I love it when I get great questions, and I like to make content around them so other people can get them answered. But let's talk about phase one, and a lot of times parents and even dentists get confused, like, is it quote unquote worth it to do phase one now? Is there enough to get done to make it worth it financially, for the patient's time, for the patient's outcome? Or can I wait and address this in phase two? And the answer is it depends. It depends on so many different factors: how severe it is, how many things need to be fixed. Certainly, if there's a crossbite, anterior or posterior, a constricted maxilla, significant crowding, more than a few millimeters, overjet, yes. I think that definitely phase one is indicated. There's a few situations where I'm like, maybe we can wait and still get the same outcome and save a little money. And this might be one of them. So the question is, if a child only has a deep bite or overbite, do you still need to do phase one? We're saying, for example, teeth are completely straight. We take a pano, no sense of no impactions coming up. We've got plenty of space for the permanent teeth to come in. So you probably actually want to be even better than this. You want to have a little more spacing than this. No cross bites anterior or posterior, no overjet. All we have is a mild to moderate, maybe severe deep bite, AKA overbite, and that's all we have. Everything else is perfect, right? So my answer to this would be one of two things. First, I would check and see how severe the deep bite is. If the patient is biting or impinging on the palate and you see marks from the lower teeth on the palate, then absolutely it needs to be fixed because you can cause trauma. If not, maybe not. If not, then my answer would be, how old is the patient chronologically? How does their dental age line up with their chronological age? And how is this all intertwining with their skeletal maturity? Where are they on the pubertal growth spurt? Remember, deep bites or overbites always get worse. They do not get better. In a patient, for example, that had no crowding. If you have crowding, they're going to get a little better when you resolve the crowding, right? But if they have no crowding, they're not going to get, there's nothing to get them better with. So they're always going to get worse. As you wear down your back teeth, as you get older, the bite collapses more, right? So they got to get treated. The question is, can we treat it now or can we treat it later? Well, it's 10 times easier to treat if the patient is still growing than after they finish growing. Remember, a girl patient could be done growing at age 8, 9, or 10. Most likely done growing by 11 or 12. All their permanent teeth may not have come in by then when they're done with their skeletal maturity. How are you going to know? Well, you have to ask those questions. Lots of very personal questions need to be worded correctly, or if you're too embarrassed to ask the questions, have a staff member ask them, or can take a hand wrist x-ray, and I have an evaluation on how to evaluate those on a Ceph plate, real easy, dental office, don't even have to ask the questions. Or can contact the pediatrician, who may or may not release the growth charts. Usually they will. If you send a nice letter asking for them and why, saying you're trying to deal with treatment timing, they actually appreciate it. So all those things come into play. So for a girl, I might be more apt to start phase one. For a boy, you could probably wait. I mean, there are boys who are early growers for sure. So, I mean, obviously you don't want to not ask the questions, but it's pretty clear to me by looking at a boy if they're growing or not. I can look at them and tell, there's so many outward signs if the growth spurt is anytime soon. And I'm not promising the parents that they can wait till phase two, because what if all their teeth don't come in till they're 13 and they're not quite ready for phase two, but yet they grew at 11, right? We don't always know at age 8, but you can say, hey, let's come back every 6 months to a year, let's reevaluate this. I think we're okay to wait for 6 months to a year. We'll reevaluate it in 6 months to a year. So you're not making any sweeping promises. You're just saying we'll reevaluate it. For a girl, I'm probably going to err on the side of caution and say, let's go ahead and start, because you're going to have a much more difficult time. And plus, if the girl has no crowding and just a deep bite and no other issues, if you fix the deep bite now, you might have no phase two to do later, which is awesome, right? How easy is that? How many people would love not to have braces? Well, most people. So, and that'll save the parents a ton of money. So in any case, hopefully this was helpful. All right, thank you.